Standing in front of 30 people at my parents' anniversary party, my father looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're not coming to Hawaii, Sage. Someone has to stay home and watch the kids." That's the moment I decided to destroy everything. Not with yelling or tears. Something worse. I had a secret I'd been building for 3 years, and that night, I finally used it. My name is Sage Mercer. I'm 32. My family is what you'd call successful. Dad retired from banking, Mom runs every committee in town, and my sister Stephanie married a corporate lawyer who drives a Lexus. Me? I'm the one who helps out. That's what Mom tells people. "Oh, that's Sage, she helps out." Like I'm staff. The parking spot thing should have tipped me off. Every time I visited, Mom would say, "Sage, move your car. Joel's bringing the Lexus." My 10-year-old Honda had to park on the street. I just moved the car. Never questioned it. Let me paint you a picture of what helping out actually meant. Thanksgiving. I'd arrive at 6 in the morning to start the turkey. Set the table, arrange flowers, coordinate 7 side dishes while Stephanie rolled in at noon wearing cashmere, sat down, and got served. Christmas, same thing. Birthday parties for my niece and nephew. I was entertainment, cleanup crew, and backup babysitter all in one. Last year I spent 8 hours running Noah's dinosaur party while Stephanie got a manicure. The one time I asked if maybe I could skip a family event for a client deadline, Mom's voice went ice cold. "Family comes first, Sage. We all make sacrifices." Except I was the only one sacrificing anything. You want to know when I finally saw it? Random Tuesday. I was scrubbing Mom's lasagna pot after another family dinner, and I realized I couldn't remember the last time anyone invited me somewhere without expecting me to work. That same year, my Christmas gift from Stephanie was a kitchen apron that said "World's Best Aunt" in glittery letters. I wore it every single time I came over to cook, clean, and babysit. 3 years ago, my boyfriend Zachary dumped me after 4 years together. "I love you, Sage, but I'm not in love with you anymore. You're just there. You're always just there. Like furniture. Like wallpaper." After he left, I wandered into a pawn shop downtown. That's when I saw it. A Canon DSLR camera. Used but maintained, tagged at $180. I bought it with money I should have saved. Told no one. That camera became my secret. I started photographing people most others ignore. Elderly women at bus stops. Tired overnight janitors. Street vendors with calloused hands. People society looks right through. The same way my family looked through me. I called the series Invisible Women. Created an anonymous Instagram account. Over 3 years, I built 12,000 followers. I kept the camera wrapped in an old scarf at the back of my closet. It was the only thing I ever kept just for myself. 3 weeks before the anniversary party, I got an email from Seascape Fine Arts in Monterey, California. They wanted to discuss my work. A possible exhibition. I stared at that email for 20 minutes, hands shaking. But I didn't reply. Because good things didn't happen to people like me. There's one person in my family who actually sees me. My Aunt Louise, Mom's younger sister. Mom calls her the family disappointment. Louise never married, followed her passion for ceramics, and 20 years ago moved to Carmel by the Sea to open a cafe with a pottery studio. I've been calling Aunt Louise every Sunday night for 7 years. Mom doesn't know. Louise was the one who first saw my photographs. Her response made me cry. "Sage, this is extraordinary. You have a gift." Nobody had ever called anything I did extraordinary. 3 weeks before the anniversary, she said something that changed everything. "Sage, I sent your Instagram to a gallery owner I know. Theodore Bennett in Monterey. He wants to talk about a solo exhibition." I nearly dropped the phone. "That's the gallery that emailed me." "I know, sweetheart. And you deserve it." That night, I replied to Theodore Bennett's email. "Now let me bring you to the night everything exploded." Party prep started a week early. I took 3 days off work to help set up. Ordered flowers, hand-wrote 60 place cards, coordinated with caterers, pressed tablecloths, polished crystal. Day of the party, I arrived at 7 a.m. By 6 p.m., the house looked perfect. I changed into a simple black dress. "Sage, Mom caught me in the hallway, frowning. Is that what you're wearing? It's black. I thought it was appropriate. It's fine. Just stay in the background. Today is about your father and me. Guests arrived at 7. Stephanie swept in at 7:15 in a red wrap dress with Joel and their kids. Mom rushed to embrace her. Everyone, remember my daughter Stephanie and her husband Joel. Joel's a partner at Bradford & Cole. We're so proud. I circulated with appetizers, refilled wine. One woman asked, "Are you with the catering company?" Mom appeared. "Oh, that's Sage, my other daughter. She's helping out tonight." At one point Joel approached with both kids. "Hey, can you take them? Stephanie and I need to mingle." I took them. Fed them dinner in the kitchen, wiped Ava's face, told Noah stories. When I emerged, dessert was being served. I hadn't eaten all day. No one saved me a plate. The announcement came at 9. Dad stood up, tapping his champagne glass. The room went silent. "Madeline and I want to thank you all for being here. 40 years of marriage." He paused. "And to celebrate, we're taking the whole family to Hawaii. 1 week at the Four Seasons in Maui." The room erupted. Stephanie squealed. "Dad, that's amazing." I felt something lift in my chest. The whole family. That meant me too. I stepped forward, smiling. "That sounds incredible. What time is our flight?" The question hung in the air. Dad's expression shifted. He glanced at Mom. "Sage," he said slowly, "you don't need to know the flight time. Because you're not going." 30 pairs of eyes watched my father tell me I wasn't part of the family vacation. "Someone needs to stay behind," Mom added. "Stephanie and Joel need a real vacation. You'll watch the children." "But Sage. Honestly." Mom's tone sharpened. "You don't have anything important to do. Stephanie works hard. She deserves a break." Stephanie works hard. Stephanie, who hadn't held a job since Noah was born. "It's just a week," Joel added. "The kids love you." I stood there holding a dirty plate while 30 people watched me be dismissed. One woman whispered to her husband. I caught the words, "Poor thing. She must be used to it by now." The champagne glass in my hand trembled. I set down the plate, the glass. "Of course," I heard myself say. "I understand." But something inside me cracked. I excused myself to the kitchen. And for the first time in my life, I started making a different kind of plan. The party continued without me. Stephanie appeared eventually, red dress swishing. "Sage, don't be upset. You know how it is. Joel and I really need this time together." I kept washing dishes. "Besides, you're so good with Noah and Ava. And you don't have like a boyfriend or anything. Your schedule is flexible." Flexible. As if my time had no value. Joel made a list. Their schedules, food allergies. "I'll text you everything." She didn't ask if I was willing. She assumed. But as I stood alone in Mom's kitchen, a single thought crystallized. They don't see me as family. They see me as staff. And staff can resign. It was almost midnight when I found the emails. I was folding tablecloths when I realized I needed to send a file to a client. My laptop was at home. Mom's was on the kitchen counter. I opened it. Gmail already logged in. I saw my name in a subject line. Hawaii arrangements, Sage situation. I knew I shouldn't. I clicked anyway. The thread was between Mom and Stephanie. From Madeline Mercer, "Keep Sage here to watch the kids. She doesn't have anything important to do anyway. It's like having free help. She should be grateful we give her something to do." Stephanie's reply, "Totally agree, Mom. She'll probably feel useful for once. It's kind of sad, honestly, but at least it works out for us." I read those words 3 times. Free help. She should be grateful. Kind of sad. I took screenshots. Emailed them to myself. Deleted the evidence. Then I sat in Mom's dark kitchen and finally let myself understand exactly what I was to them. I drove home at 1 in the morning and called Aunt Louise. She answered on the second ring. "Sage, what's wrong?" I told her everything. The announcement, the humiliation, the emails. My voice cracked when I read aloud, "Free help." Silence. Then, "Sage, I have a spare room above the cafe. And that gallery. It's 20 minutes from my place. Aunt Louise, I can't just. Yes, you can. You can choose yourself for once. By 6 in the morning, I'd started packing. 2 days before their Hawaii trip, I drove to my parents' house one last time. I need to tell you something, I said. I'm not watching the kids. I have a work opportunity in California. I'm leaving tomorrow. Mom stood up, voice ice cold. This is incredibly selfish. Family comes first. Family comes first, I repeated. Except when it comes to inviting me to Hawaii. Her mouth opened, then closed. Dad cleared his throat. If you leave, don't expect us to welcome you back. I understand, I said. And I meant it. The next 24 hours were emotional warfare. Mom called 6 times. You're tearing this family apart. Your father is devastated. Stephanie cried all evening. Then Stephanie's text, you're going to end up alone, just like Aunt Louise. Is that what you want? They meant it as a threat. But Aunt Louise had her own business, her own art, her own life on her own terms. Aunt Louise was happy. I turned off my phone. The drive took 5 days. I stopped at roadside motels, ate at diners where nobody knew my name. Somewhere in Nebraska, I pulled over and photographed the sunset painting the prairie gold and pink. My first shot as a free woman. When I crossed into California, the Pacific appeared, vast and endless. I rolled down my window and breathed salt air for the first time. I cried. Not from sadness, from relief. At 7 p.m. on the 5th day, I pulled into Aunt Louise's driveway. She was waiting, arms open. Welcome home, she said. And for the first time in 32 years, somewhere actually felt like it. My room was upstairs. Small, bright, with a view of the Pacific. You'll work the morning shift, Louise explained. 6 to noon. After that, your time is yours. The next morning, I woke before dawn and learned how to make pour-over coffee. At 2, I had an appointment at Seascape Fine Arts. Theodore Bennett was tall with silver hair and kind eyes. Louise has told me a lot about you. But the work speaks for itself. He showed me my portfolio on a large monitor. An elderly woman at a bus stop, her face a map of quiet dignity. This is the one that made me reach out. You see people, Sage. Really see them. That's a gift. He turned to face me. I'd like to offer you a solo exhibition. 15 pieces. Opening in 6 weeks. We'll cover everything. You keep 60% of sales. I signed the contract that afternoon, hands shaking. For 3 years, I'd built something in the shadows. Now it was stepping into the light. While I built my new life, my family discovered what my absence meant. Hawaii was a disaster. Without me to babysit, Stephanie and Joel couldn't enjoy adults-only dinners. Noah threw tantrums. Ava got an ear infection and nobody could find the pediatrician's number. I'd always kept track of that. The text started on day 4. Sage, where are the kids' medication records? Sage, what's Noah's bedtime routine? I didn't respond. I was printing proofs in Monterey, selecting frames, meeting with a journalist who wanted to interview me. On day 6, Stephanie did something she'd never done. She searched my name on Google. And found something other than a blank page. 6 weeks later, I stood in Seascape Fine Arts surrounded by my work. 15 photographs on the walls. A string quartet in the corner. Champagne flowing. 50 guests examining my art with price tags that made me dizzy. Aunt Louise pressed champagne into my hand. How do you feel? Terrified. What if nobody buys anything? Someone already has. She nodded toward a woman in pearls examining my centerpiece photograph. A small red dot on the placard. That's Mrs. Garrison. She owns half the art in Monterey. She just bought that piece for $3,000. Sage. Theodore approached, grinning. The magazine wants you for next month's cover feature. I was halfway through that introduction when the door opened. Stephanie and Joel walked in, still sunburned from Hawaii. Then Stephanie saw me. Sage. We've been so worried. She rushed forward, arms out. Mom found your Instagram. She's been calling everyone. 50 guests turned to look. This is my gallery opening, I said calmly. Stephanie blinked, taking in the photographs for the first time. The guests, the champagne, the price tags. You did all this. Since when? 3 years ago. You never asked. Aunt Louise materialized at my elbow. Stephanie leaned closer. Sage, I have news. I'm pregnant again. Number 3. I really need you to come home. Joel's work is crazy. I need you. There it was. Not an apology. Not congratulations. Just need. Stephanie, I said quietly, I'm in the middle of my opening night. I know, and this is lovely, really. She waved at my life's work like a cute hobby. But I need to know when you're coming back. She's not coming back. Aunt Louise's voice cut through. She lives here now. Joel stepped forward. This is family business. Family business. Louise laughed sharply. You mean the family that called her free help in email she wasn't supposed to see? Stephanie went pale. The journalist's pen moved rapidly. That's not, we didn't mean it like that, Stephanie stammered. How exactly did you mean it? Mrs. Garrison, champagne in hand, watched with interest. I just paid $3,000 for that young woman's art. I'm curious why her family thinks she should abandon her career to babysit. The room went silent. Stephanie looked at me, desperate. Sage, please. For 32 years, I'd made myself small. Not tonight. Stephanie, I understand you're pregnant. Congratulations. But I won't be coming back to be your childcare. You can hire a nanny. Joel makes enough. What you can't do is hire me, because I was never paid. Stephanie's mouth opened, closed. This isn't a hobby. I gestured to the walls. This is my work. I've been building this for 3 years while everyone assumed I had nothing important to do. Tonight I've sold 4 pieces totaling $8,000. My work has value. I have value. And I will not throw that away to go back to being free help. Silence. Absolute silence. Then Theodore started to clap. Aunt Louise joined. Mrs. Garrison raised her glass. One by one, the guests followed. I hope your pregnancy goes well, I said. But I won't be the live-in aunt anymore. If you want to be in my life, it has to be different. It has to be equal. Stephanie nodded, tears streaming. I understand. The gallery door opened again 20 minutes later. My parents walked in. Mom wore her Burberry trench coat. Dad looked uncomfortable in a blazer. Mom walked through my gallery like she owned it. Sage. We need to talk. I excused myself from the journalist. You came all this way. Of course we did. You disappeared. You left when we needed you. And now I find you here playing artist while your sister is pregnant and struggling. Stephanie is pregnant and wealthy. She's not struggling. She's inconvenienced. Don't be cruel. This isn't you. You're right. It isn't the me you wanted, the one you could count on to do whatever you asked. But that Sage was never seen. She was just used. Dad cleared his throat. Your mother is trying to say. I know what she's trying to say, Dad. Family comes first. But I wasn't part of the family trip to Hawaii, remember? So which is it? Am I family or aren't I? Neither answered. Mom recovered first. Hawaii was one trip. You're blowing this out of proportion. Someone. Why me? Why always me? Because you have the time. You don't have a husband. You don't have children. What else would you be doing? I pulled out my phone. Let me read you something. This is an email you sent Stephanie before the party. Mom's face went white. Keep Sage here to watch the kids. She doesn't have anything important to do anyway. It's like having free help. She should be grateful we give her something to do. The gallery went silent. And Stephanie replied, she'll probably feel useful for once. It's kind of sad, honestly, but at least it works out for us. I'm not reading this to embarrass anyone. I'm reading it so you understand why I left. You didn't see me as family. You saw me as staff. And staff has the right to quit. Mom was speechless. This is ridiculous, Joel snapped. You're making a scene over babysitting. Not everyone gets to run off and pretend to be an artist. Pretend. I just spent $3,000 on her work, Mrs. Garrison said coldly. I don't pay that for pretend. Joel turned. You don't know this family. I know that young woman photographs people society overlooks, and I know her own family treated her exactly the same way. Murmurs rippled through the gallery. Mom tried to salvage it. This is a misunderstanding. Family jokes taken out of context. A joke. Another voice. Telling your daughter she has nothing important to do. Calling her free help. What's funny about that? I think, Aunt Louise said gently, it's time for you to leave. Mom's face flushed scarlet. Dad took her arm. Sage, Mom said, voice shaking. You'll regret this. No, I said quietly. I really won't. Mom left first, pulling Dad behind her. Stephanie lingered, mascara smudged. Sage, I didn't know you felt this way. No, you didn't. You didn't think about it at all. I hope your pregnancy is healthy. But I won't be the live-in aunt anymore. If you want to be in my life, it has to be equal. They left through the same door. Aunt Louise wrapped an arm around my shoulders. You okay? I think so. I laughed shakily. I just told off my entire family in public. You were magnificent. Theodore approached with fresh champagne. Never seen an opening like this. Is that good or bad? He smiled. Everyone here will remember your name. And that, Sage Mercer, is exactly what an artist needs. By closing, I'd sold 8 of 15 photographs. $14,000 total. $8,400 would go to me. Theodore handed me the printout. Not bad for an opening with unexpected family drama. More than I'd made in 3 months of accounting work. Mrs. Garrison wants to commission a piece. The magazine is considering you for next month's cover. A commission. A magazine cover. That night, I set the check on my desk and photographed it. Payable to Sage Mercer. $8,400. Proof I wasn't nothing. 2 months later, my new life had a rhythm. Wake at 5, watch the sunrise over the Pacific. Open the ceramic cup by 6. Morning shift until noon, pouring coffee, chatting with regulars who knew me as Louise's niece, the photographer. Afternoons belonged to my work. I'd rented a small studio 3 blocks away. The magazine article came out in October. My face on the cover of Carmel magazine. The artist who learned to see herself. People reached out. Women who'd been the family helper, the reliable one. I thought I was the only one. You gave me permission to leave. Thank you for showing me it's possible. My family reached out too. Stephanie texted after the baby was born. A girl named Scarlett. She sent a photo. I sent congratulations and a gift card. Nothing more. Mom called once. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail asking if I'd gotten this out of my system yet. I deleted it. But my father surprised me. His email arrived on a Tuesday. 3 sentences. Sage, I saw the magazine. I'm proud of you. That one I kept. Today I'm sitting in my studio looking out at the Pacific. The Canon camera from that pawn shop still sits on my shelf. Next to it sits a newer model I purchased with money I earned from my art. Both cameras matter. One reminded me to see. The other proves people saw me back. My second exhibition opens next month. Boundaries. 15 new photographs exploring where family ends and self begins. I think it might be my best work yet. Aunt Louise stops by every morning with coffee. Theodore checks in weekly. The cafe regulars request the photographer's table by the window. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. But I'm seen. And that's enough. As for my family, we exist in a new configuration. Christmas cards, birthday texts, occasional updates. Civil, distant, healthier than before. I haven't been back to Boston. Maybe someday as a visitor. Never as the help. The other day I found an old self-portrait. Shot in the mirror of my Boston apartment when I was still invisible. I deleted it. That woman is gone. In her place is someone who takes up space. Who creates beautiful things. Who says no when she means no. Someone who finally let herself be seen. That's the real story. Not revenge, not triumph. Just freedom. From a psychological perspective, my story illustrates parentification, when a child takes on adult responsibilities without recognition. I also occupied the scapegoat role while Stephanie was the golden child. Here's what I want you to take away. Setting boundaries isn't betrayal. It's recognizing you cannot pour from an empty cup, and people who truly love you won't ask you to. If you're in a situation like mine, remember your worth isn't measured by how useful you are to others. It's inherent. It was always there. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fight back. It's walk away. Build something of your own. Let your life speak louder than any argument. You deserve that. We all do. Thanks for listening. If you like this story, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about finding yourself when your family can't see you. You don't need permission to become who you were always meant to be.